Hey everybody, this is Dave. I'm gonna try to use AI. I'm gonna throw a little Agile in there to kind of combine the two techniques to see if I can really do a lot of work in much less time. So stick around for better ways of working. All right, hey, thanks for joining us today. Again, I'm Dave. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new to the channel, then welcome again. I appreciate you coming back. So I've been doing some videos lately about what it's like to do some quick prototyping, and those are becoming the most popular videos on the channel. So there's a new app that I haven't tried called Lovable, a new platform. So I thought I'd give it a try. So this is not sponsored by Lovable or OpenAI or anything, and it's totally me for the first time. You're going to see what it's like. And again, I always give a disclaimer when you're using AI tools, especially at work, please check with whatever rules your work has in place. I'm doing this on my own time just to try it out. And I'm going to start from using some Agile techniques at the same time before I start giving in prompts to do. So let's get right into it. All right, so I am in Mural right now. I'm going to take a different approach to this, where I'm just not going to go right into a prompt. And again, I'm going to simulate a lot of this. I wish I was a product manager. I'd like to be a project manager. If any of you are product managers and want to give me help, reach out to me. But before I just start putting stuff into whatever app to make a prototype, I really want to sit down and think about the flow of this app, what I want it to do. So if you're familiar with Agile, one of the techniques that we use is a user story map. So it's like a two-dimensional backlog in a sense, where horizontally we kind of lay out the high-level activity of the user, and then vertically under each one of those activities, what are the steps that the users are going to do. It's a very popular technique. If you want to know more, if you want to see a video on me expanding that, let me know in the comments down below. So what I have here is I laid out a very simple user story map, but I've also outlined the product goal for me to remember why I think this is important, why I think there's a market for it, sort of. The product goal is to help me get more time back. So if I can create an app that I can use to track my tasks and it can tell me this is how you can save time, I think this is something I would definitely want, and maybe most of you would want as well, because who doesn't want time back in their day to do personal enjoyment or do other things that they love or more work? It's up to you. But time is a precious commodity, so let's try to get it back. So in this user story map, I'm just starting this out, the bluish cards, blue-green, whatever that color is. I'm assuming a user is going to want to have to track tasks and then analyze those tasks. So under track tasks, what is the task name? What is the task due date? And maybe time, maybe that's optional. The next thing, add the task category. Maybe that's optional as well. And again, we can add to these as we start seeing the prototype and we have ideas, but this is kind of like my brain dump right now, or maybe I'm collaborating with actual users to get ideas on what this app is supposed to do. Obviously start a task and then maybe pause it and then stop a task. And then at some point, once I have data, I'm going to want to analyze them. And maybe I want to show what those task durations are and suggestions for improvement and track the time recovered. So at this point, if this was a traditional, in air quotes, Agile endeavor, I could then write user stories out of this, load them into a Jira project, and have a development team that runs in sprints to be able to throw this together. Now, maybe this is super simple and somebody could do it in a couple days, but I want to see what a tool like Lovable can do. But before I do that, I want a little help to make sure I'm going to get the most out of it. So I'm going to ChatGPT. So in ChatGPT, as you can see here, I kind of threw a screenshot. I asked ChatGPT to take a screenshot of my mural, which it did, and I explained it. I'll show you what the prompt is here. I said, this is a screenshot of a user story map for a new app I'd like to build that help not only track time, to do tasks, but also to help improve. I'm going to build the app with user stories. Give me one or more user stories from this user story map. And I also threw in other apps. At the time of writing this, I didn't have access to Codex, which is what OpenAI uses. So I'm going to use Lovable. I have other videos where I use Bold and Replit. I may do this there to see what it's like in the other apps. But as you can see, ChatGPT here gives me some user stories. So it gives me in the traditional format, and it gives me under two categories: track tasks and analyze tasks. So this is pretty good. It actually knows how to read the user story format and can write the traditional user stories. So maybe this is something I would then take to a team, as I said earlier. Um, but I mentioned I wanted to start building, sketch the UI, and it kind of gave me this mock-up in a text format, which was pretty interesting. Not sure, I guess it's in Markdown, but at least it gives me some idea. And then it gives me kind of like a rundown sheet in a sense, and it gives me some things to consider. So that's kind of neat. Like I said, I just had to try it. I asked it to build it in Codex. I didn't have access, but it is what you'd want to do. And here's some HTML code. Okay, I really want to build this thing. So give me a prompt for Lovable. I specifically asked a prompt for Lovable. So this is, I was kind of surprised. It knows how to talk to other AI, I would think. And then it says, well, this is how you should break this down. And it actually is more like a specifications document, which I thought was interesting, because maybe that's the way you could communicate, is just say, here's the specifications, here's the functionality. Keep it clean, mobile, responsive, and use vanilla HTML, add clear labels. And I wouldn't have thought to really be this specific. So I was really happy that it came up with this. So I just like a cooking show, I went ahead and did one before I started recording here. And so you're going to see what this looks like. And I copied this prompt right into here. And it gave me this very simple prototype. Clean garage is maybe a task. And it did give me a category. I'm going to say it's personal. When is it due? It's going to be due tomorrow. And start the task. And it gives me a pause button. And I don't know how to resume it, so that's interesting. I would have to tell it here under Ask Lovable. I pause the task, but I don't see how to resume. Let's see what it says. And while it's doing that, you can see at the bottom, it's kind of giving me some stats. It's kind of giving me some of that analysis, how many tasks I have, how much time I spent on this. And Lovable is saying, you're absolutely right. The current app doesn't have a way to resume pause tasks. Let me add that functionality. So I want to keep this video short, but you can imagine it's going to be a lot of back and forth like this. You really have to give it specifics. So I learned some things out of this. So what do you all think? Would you like me to see me continue to build this out? I will. So put in the comments what you think. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know in the comments. But I could keep going with this, and oh, there we go. Look, it just added a resume button. So now I can. Oh, that looked like it actually started from the beginning. Let me do that again. I'm going to pause the task. So that's 7 seconds. If I hit resume, yeah, it starts it over from 0 again. I want to pick it up where I left off. So let me pause that again, and says, and I'll tell it when I hit the resume button, the counter should not reset to 0. Please have it continue to add from the previous duration. Let's see what it does then. So it's thinking about it. Again, folks, while it's doing that, if you want to see more, let me know. And here it's telling me you're absolutely right. So it should continue where it left off. So it's going to make some change. Let's go ahead. So I got 12 seconds on the clock. When I hit resume, yes. Now it's picking up from that. So now I'm going to hit pause task. But wait a minute. I only hit it a couple seconds. Let's do that again. I'm just going to add a couple seconds. 27, 28, 29. See, I just added 2 seconds. And now it's adding the previous time as well as the current duration. So I'm not going to belabor the point here, but I think this is interesting. I think this does help save time. It definitely gets you to a prototype faster. At this point, you're looking at it. I want to see what you think of this. If you were going to use this, I guess we could put this out there in the public and have people use it as well. I'm just scratching the surface here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.